Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Most of the audio was unusable due to the heater running in the background, leaving no choice but to do a voiceover. I'm not a fan of voiceovers, so let's add some background music to make it less boring. This video is sped up so that almost all of the footage can be seen in a half-an-hour time frame. I bet many of you want to know what's going on. As many of you guys know from following us during the Woodstock loop video, while off camera, while riding the rally, I accidentally arrested my foot on the shift lever. Since then, the bike never shifted properly and it would fall out of second gear. I'm sure dropping the bike during the filming of Woodstock loop and then again at Hodges Village didn't help either. I'm stripping the engine right down to the gears for inspection and repair. There is no footage of the engine being removed from or installed on the bike. We start with the engine already out. The camera angle is not the greatest. The footage of the reassembly is better. And during the reassembly there will be an upgrade added, which will be revealed later. As you can see, it's a cold, windy winter's day. The tarp is blowing around on the RV outside, as you can see in the window. Apologies for the messy garage. When you drop your bike, this is the piece that's known to bend. As you can see, not my case. My case is inside the motor. While removing the cylinder, the tricky part is trying not to break the chain guides. Next, remove the studs. They're only tightened by hand and it seems like it takes an eternity to remove them. We're almost there. We remove the flywheel next. A tool is needed to separate it from the crankshaft. Thank you, eBay. Once removed, the 4 bolts that are hidden can be accessed, and when all the 8mm bolts around the case are removed, you can gently pry it open. Here is the insides of the bike. The gears are fine, looks like there's some scoring. And the forks are slightly bent. The naked eye can't see it. The forks are bent just enough to cause the gears not to sit correctly while in second gear. Off camera, the residual RTV and the gaskets were cleaned off the motor. Next, add some oil to the gears. Let's install the new gears, the forks, and the shift cam. Make sure it's all lined up properly where the forks are sitting in the proper grooves. Now that all the mating surfaces are clean, we're going to use some RTV. Let's keep it Honda. I'll be using Honda Bond. Apply it around the case, then smooth it out evenly. Any excess on the outside can be trimmed away after it cures. I'm going to move the crankshaft to the other side to make it easier to put the case back together. Next, add some oil to the crankshaft and the bearings. And flip it over. Add the 8mm bolts. There is no torque specification, so these I torque to 8 Nm, about 6 foot-pounds. Then I tighten them with the 1/4" drive ratchet until snug. Moving to the flywheel next, that gets torqued down to 128 Nm, or about 94 foot-pounds. Install the starter gear, add oil, install a new gasket in the alternator cover. Now I made a mistake of securing the cover back on too soon. I should have waited. I ended up taking it back off while off camera. Flip the motor over again. Let's install the dowel pins. Then the star gear on the shift cam. It only goes one way. Add some Loctite to the bolt, torque it down 10 Nm, or about 7.5 foot-pounds. Now add the gears, one on the balancer shaft. Add the other to the crankshaft. Be sure to line the dots up. Then I jump to the oil pump. All the O-rings have been replaced while off camera. Torque the balancer shaft nut to about 69 Newton meters, about 51 foot-pounds. To the oil pump and torque it down to 10 Newton meters, about 7.5 foot-pounds. Install the chain guide. The bolt gets Loctite and it's torqued down to 10 Newton meters, about 7.5 foot-pounds. Bring the chain in from the top, put it around the gear, then slide the gear into place above the oil pump. I installed the gear on the oil pump way too soon. It keeps falling off. Now torque the nut on the crankshaft to 108 Newton meters, about 80 foot-pounds. Let's move on to the clutch. The bike only has 3,100 miles on it. The clutch still looks new. It's gonna go back in. Add some oil to the bearings on the primary gear. Install the clutch center. Add the judder springs, the clutch discs. Wait, went too far ahead. The nut needs to be installed and torqued down. So now we torque that down to 108 Newton meters or 80 foot-pounds. Wait, this isn't going good. Oops, I broke it. The rebuild will continue and we'll revisit the clutch later on when the new one arrives. Gonna move on to the starter. We're gonna install that. The two 10mm bolts, tighten them down. Now we're going to put the studs back in for the cylinder, add a little bit of oil to each hole, and then twist each stud until tight by hand. Feels like an eternity. While off camera, I installed the piston rings. So the goal was to stagger. So I don't know if you can see right there, this is T for top. And the second ring should be somewhere over here, and this brand says T2. And then I got the oil rings, which are staggered like the book says. So one there, the mesh here, and the other one there. That's what the book says. Because we don't want blow by. We want to make a seal. I'm gonna put one of the retainers in now. Oh my god, or snap ring, whatever you want to call them. So I should put it back the way I had it. A lot easier without working with gloves. For that reason. So intake side bigger, exhaust side smaller. Make sure my rings are not messed up again. They do move inside the engine too. Alright. A bit of oil. here's the tensioner. So intake side's on this side. I kind of wish they made the cars you can squeeze them by hand like this. And it takes your glove too with it. Right. Just right there. That's it. Now if you notice the piston looks new, it is. The Rally is going to get an upgrade. We're going to do the big bore kit from 550 Performance. So we oil the pin, slide it in, and then install the snap ring. It was a struggle to install the snap ring on the chain side of the piston, realizing that the snap ring should have gone on the chain side of the piston first, because the access to install the pin and snap ring is easier from the other side, the alternator side. The piston was pulled back out of the cylinder unintentionally. And once it was out, I finally attached it to the rod with the pin, both snap rings, and then the piston was installed back into the cylinder by squeezing the rings one by hand. As we're sliding the cylinder down, be careful not to break the chain guide. Slide it into place, line the timing mark, top dead center, pull the chain up, install the second chain guide. This one sits between the head and the cylinder. Make sure it's in the groove. I'm using a magnet to install the washers and nuts for the head. The nuts get torqued down to 45 Newton meters, about 33 foot-pounds. Do this in a crisscross pattern. The two bolts near the chain are torqued down to 15 meters, about 11 foot-pounds. Now we install the cams. There should be some slack in the chain on the tensioner side. The dots on the camshaft, they both face up. Using the chain as a guide, you can count 15 pins between the dots. It was a little bit of a struggle to try to line everything up. If I had better footage, I would have used it. Next, we torque down the camshaft holders to 12 Newton meters, about 9 foot-pounds. Do this in a crisscross pattern also. It's a good idea to spin the engine around a few times, make sure everything lines back up. Install the new tensioner with a new gasket. Set the tensioner with a small screwdriver. Install the top chain guide. And finally a new gasket. Add some RTV where the half moons are. And then install the valve cover. Add new seals for the bolts. Torque them down to 10 Newton meters, about 7.5 foot-pounds. The clutch center has arrived. We installed the nut and torque it to 108 Newton meters for about 80 foot-pounds. It was a bit of a struggle again, but I got it. Next we do the judder springs, the clutch plates, the lifter pin, the pressure plate, the springs, the retainer, and the bolts you torque down in 12 Newton meters or about 9 foot-pounds. Install the shift shaft, and then the gasket, and then the cover. Both covers, the 8mm bolts, there's no torque specs, so just tighten them until snug. We're almost done. Install the coolant tube, replace the O-rings, and finally the caps on the alternator cover. And there it is. Alrighty, here we go, running it for the very first time. Alright, another point of reference too, don't do what I did. The big bore kit, I had the whole motor out, and then I got confused between this plug for the TPS IAC, which has a rubber boot. That's the only difference. And then you got this plug, this one right here, for the fuel pump. They look, and they actually have the same grooves. So I had an issue trying to run the bike for the first time. I had the wrong plug connected. Yeah, don't do that. Nothing happened. The bike runs. But yeah, just a little point of reference. This is the fuel pump plug. This is the IAC or throttle position sensor or whatever the hell that black box is in the throttle body. That's what that plug goes to. So we'll plug it in. Plug in this one first because it's a pain in the ass. And this one I'm going to wrap around. I know it's there somewhere. There it is.